Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the new horror movie releases that I saw in the month of May 2025. Wow, we're almost at the halfway through the year now. It's absolutely flew, it's 2025, hasn't it? But I was hoping to have 7 new releases here, going by the schedule at the start of the month, and unfortunately 2 of these movies got delayed here in the UK. One of them is Bring Her Back. I know the US have had it already, which just really bummed me out. I mean, I could go on a whole rant about other countries getting releases first and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I'm happy for you guys in the US that have got it, but it does not make sense that why we have to wait in this day and age. Especially with all the spoilers and everything being thrown around on the internet. You know, people just don't care, they don't think, they just put it on there. And the other one is Clown in a Cornfield. This got delayed about 3 days before it was meant to release. And I think we were meant to get this on the 16th of May. It's actually been pushed back now to the 6th of June. So I'll talk about Clown in a Cornfield next month. Unfortunately, still haven't seen the movie. I was really looking forward to that. But I do have 5 new releases here. Now, some of these may have been released at different times, but in the UK, we got them on this month. So, yeah, some of them may look familiar if you're in the US or whatever. That's just the way they've been released here. And I've reviewed number 1 and number 2 on this list. So if you want to check them out in full, they'll be in the link down below, along with other monthly rankings. So let's just get into it now. In 5th place, coming in 5th place is The Surrender, a Shudder original that I honestly didn't hold too much hope for anyway, going by the concept and stuff. It's like another spiritual sort of, not exorcism movie, but it deals with trying to bring a certain body back, if you like, from the dead. And I just didn't really scream out to me. And this was one of the worst movies I've seen this year, unfortunately. So my low expectations were met with even lower expectations. This film just absolutely dragged. It's only a 90-minute movie, but I thought it was never, ever going to end. Basically, what happens is this mother and her daughter are looking after the husband / father of the family, of this 3-people family, and he's really sick in bed. He's going to die any minute, and he eventually does die. And this mother's got this plan to bring him back by hiring this sort of weird-looking priest-type guy, I don't know what the hell he was, to come to the house and perform this spiritual sort of happening, if you like. I can't find the word, to bring him back to life, because the mother thinks that it worked with one of her friend's family members, and she was recommended by her friend, this guy, to come and basically bring the father back to life, which is just a ridiculous concept in itself, in all honesty. But it's very held back by lots of budget constraints. This is a very low budget indie movie. You can just tell by looking at it. It centers around these 3/4 characters when this priest guy comes, and not much more. And it's all just taking place in this house. And the mother and the daughter were always at odds end with each other. They were always arguing and fighting throughout the movie. They weren't very nice characters to surround yourself with. Good acting, I will admit. They are well performed, but I just didn't care. The mother of this family was just making so many constant bad decisions. I was just shaking my head constantly going, why is this daughter sort of being suckered into her bad decisions? Like, put up more of a fight. What she wants to do is absolutely ridiculous. And then it goes, like, the second act is just like the whole spiritual thing that was going on, trying to bring this guy back to life. And it was so damn boring. And in the third act, the horror came in. That wasn't much horror at all. It was just the most uninteresting type of movie that I've seen. I mean, it's third from bottom on my ranking this year out of the 40-odd movies I've seen. It just couldn't wait for it to end. I really couldn't. It was just so dull and such a drag. Hated the characters. The only redeeming fact I could say is it probably, at the start, I thought this is going to be a good grieving drama / horror family grief-stricken movie, if you like. And it just didn't. It just lost all of that straight, like, after 20 minutes. I just didn't care. And just will never watch this movie again. I do not recommend it. And the thing with these Shudder originals this year, it's been really hit or miss, because some of them have been in my worst movies of the year so far, and some of them are in my top 10. So it's really like a very high bar or a very low bar with these Shudder originals. But unfortunately, this was on the low bar side of things. So The Surrender, yeah, not great, not good, not even bad. It was just very bad. That is The Surrender in 5th place. Next up, we do have Screamboat, and this was released in the US earlier in the year in select theatres, or cinemas, I should say. I'm in the UK. And we got a screening of it here in the UK, but it was on the same day as the Merseyside derby, and I'm a big Everton fan, so I wanted to watch that Merseyside derby. I just thought I'd wait for it to come to VOD or Blu-ray, and we got it this month on VOD on Blu-ray, and I give it a watch, and I was expecting to like this because with these public domain character movies, I've always said, like, maybe they would be better if they go down the more comedic approach, because Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1 and 2 and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare are more sinister and very dark and, you know, very horror-ridden movies. Like, there's no light relief in them films whatsoever, and I do like them to a certain extent. Especially Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, that was quite a surprise for me. But I thought if they go down the more comedic approach, they'll probably work better. And how wrong was I? Because this is definitely more comedy than horror, and it didn't work for me whatsoever. And another one that tried to do it was Shiver Me Timbers. And that was the worst Popeye movie I've seen. It was the only one that went down the comedic route, and it didn't work for me. Now, I'm not saying this can't work. Of course it can. But the two that I've seen that tried to do the comedy aspect side of things have not worked for me. I think I prefer the more sinister route of these fairy tale / Disney characters, if you like, up to now anyway. But Screamboat for me, there were so many annoying characters in this movie. There was like this band of drunk girls who were constantly just drinking all the time and just wanted to get their hands on alcohol every 2 seconds, and they were just an annoying group of characters. The main protagonist was very uninspiring, very boring, didn't really do nothing for me. And we got David Howard Thornton here, who I thought was going to rescue this movie for me as this Steamboat Willie character going around fucking people up on this ferry in New York, and his outfit looked that ridiculous that I just couldn't really attach myself to him. I mean, he's like this little mouse, but he never looks little, even though the backgrounds and stuff have been heightened to make everything look big and him look small. He just looked like a guy in a suit, and it was just a bad creative style, I thought. The kills, not very memorable either. I mean, nothing really was working for me in this film, and I was just hating it the more it went on. It lost its novelty very, very quickly, if it had any novelty at all. I would rather watch this again over The Surrender, but I would rather not watch it again if I could pick, not watching it again, which of course I can. So for me, Screamboat didn't work. I know a lot of people have liked this one who hated the other movies, so that's fine. But for me, I couldn't get on board with this, and it's a shame because all the Terrifier crew and stuff were there. I remember having some gnarly kills and stuff, and I just don't think they're very memorable. So unfortunately for me, Screamboat, it didn't work. Sorry, so that is Screamboat in 4th place. Next up, we have The Ugly Stepsister, which is sort of a Cinderella story. Well, it is the Cinderella story, but it's all taken from the Ugly Stepsister's point of view. And basically, they are trying, like, this ugly stepsister is trying to win over the prince who's looking for a new princess, if you like, or wife, or whatever you want to call it. And this ugly stepsister's mother is really pressuring this girl to look her best and win this contest, basically. And it just shows how much pressure and stuff can be put on people in the most despicable ways. Like, it goes down some body horror routes here, where noses are broken in the worst type of way you can imagine. Like, if they were going to give you a nose job now, they give you anesthetic and stuff, but this girl has had to do it while she's awake and stuff, and you just see doctors chipping at her nose and everything like that. And then there's other body parts, like sewing eyelashes on and stuff just to make her look beautiful, and it gets under your skin a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I've seen a lot of people compare this to The Substance. I think it's a different type of body horror film, and it's got some of the same social commentary about not loving your body or whatever and being pressured into certain things, but I think it's a totally different movie. I mean, the whole body horror type of things, I wouldn't say it looks more realistic, but it's more pain inducing, if you like. Like, you've got to watch as people go through the pain barrier here. And it just had some really horrible characters, like the ugly stepsister's mother was just a real unlikable character, but she's meant to be. It had like other people in there who were just not very nice to be around. But overall, I did like this movie. I thought it was an interesting take on another public domain character, if you like. It tries to go for the brutal approach and stuff. It's a more sinister type, like I was talking about before. Even though it's not really a full public domain character, Cinderella is in this movie and she treated abhorrently at times. But what I really liked what the director did here, I think it is, made the aspect ratio and the filter look like it was a very early straight-to-TV movie from the early 90s. And that totally worked for me. I thought that was the best thing about it, because it just put you in this fairy tale land where it wasn't trying to put CGI anywhere or any special effects. It looked like it could actually take place in that fairy tale land that was realized on film, if you like. And that aspect ratio and the color palette just worked for it. But yeah, not a very nice film to watch. I mean, there's no light relief here or anything. But overall, I thought this was a pretty solid horror movie. I quite enjoyed it. So that is The Ugly Stepsister in third place. Next up, we have Fear Street Prom Queen. Yeah, heard a lot of hate for this movie, guys. I don't know why. I mean, I really enjoyed this one. I am an 80s slasher hound. I love slasher movies. I love cheesy slasher movies. And this was exactly that. It was a love letter to 80s slasher films. Now, the first three Fear Street movies, I thought were okay. I didn't love them. I thought it was a cool little concept, releasing one every week over on Netflix. And it was like a little bit of an event every week there for horror fans. The books of R.L. Stine, of course. These are like his more adult versions of Goosebumps, the Fear Street stories. This one centers around this young girl who is basically bullied by a lot of people at school, but she wants to go for prom queen because she's got a bit of family history there that she's kind of shamed by, or people sort of mock her for it, and she wants to win prom queen to sort of get back at those people. And she's up against these girls, like the mean girls, if you like. They were just absolutely horrible to her. But that doesn't stop her. She wants to go for it. But on this same night, a killer is going around the prom, killing people. And most of the movie, I'd say like 3/4 of the entire film, take place on the prom night, which was a really good location for a slasher film. Takes aspects from prom night and Carrie and molds them together. And it works for me. I really enjoyed the banging 80s soundtrack. I've heard a lot of people complain that these are just standard songs from the 80s that is on every 80s hit playlist. And that might be true, but they work for me in this movie. I really liked it every time a hit came on. There was some really fun comedy thrown in there. Really liked the moment where this DJ wanted to play his own songs, but this jock guy wouldn't let him and said, "You play my songs," and that's it. And there was a little back and forth between them two. I thought some of the kills here were not the most creative, but they were impactful. Like, they go for the gore and stuff, and you feel them, if you like. Like, when they happen, you're like, holy shit, that must have hurt. So, for me, I really enjoyed this one. The reveal as well, where I was a bit let down by the reveal. It kind of grew into something else, and by the end of the reveal, I was like, okay, I like that now. Because I kind of guessed what was going on, but then it kind of threw me off as well. So, yeah, I enjoyed this one. It's one of the more enjoyable straight to Netflix horror movies, and I think it's probably the best Fear Street movie in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people will not like this, but for me it worked. Me and my wife had a great time with it. It was just a very easy, digestible 90 minutes, and sometimes you just need that, don't you? Not every movie has to have a message. Not every movie has to have a meaning. We can just go into this and have fun. It doesn't link to the other Fear Street movies very well, apart from it taking place in Shadyside, and one little end of post-credit scene that kind of links to it a little bit. And there's some little Easter eggs thrown in here and there, but I wouldn't say it links to the other movies. You do not have to watch the original trilogy to understand this one. It's kind of its standalone type of film. And I believe some of the books were like that. They were just linked here and there slightly, but most of them are standalone stories, like the Goosebumps books, I believe. That's what I've heard. I haven't read the Fear Street films. They're books. But yeah, in second place, if you want a full review of that, guys, it'll be in down below. Fear Street Prom Queen. Coming in number one, though, guys, is Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I'd like to say this was a huge surprise for me, but I've enjoyed all these movies leading up to it. I think this is one of the strongest horror franchises now. But when I say it's surprising, it's probably my second favourite film in the entire series, just behind the original there. I do doubt the original will ever be topped. But what I liked about this is they took that already working formula, used it, and then sprinkled in a whole brand new approach as well. So we get most of what you like with a whole new direction. I thought it was very clever the way this movie was written out. So we got basically a woman who survives a premonition and she saves a load of people in the 50s. And all those people survive and go off to families and everything. But they were not meant to survive this accident in this tower at the start of the movie. So death has been coming after them all, one by one, and all the families they've had over the year, going through their family trees and stuff, because they were not meant to survive. And death is actually up to the last family now. And it's about this last family who are meant to survive, who have survived, and death is coming after them all one by one. And they're trying to figure out how to cheat death again, basically. Now, I thought that was a really cool way of doing a Final Destination movie. I also really love how the writers put Tony Todd's character in there as well and give him a great send-off. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. But I've always been sort of scratching my head as what this character actually is in these movies, and this movie sort of makes you look at it a totally different way, and you can see what his character is through all these movies. It was so well written for Tony Todd's character, a great send-off that he deserved. But I think this movie has some of the greatest kills in there. Like, there's a whole great collection of kills in this movie. The MRI death was absolutely one of the best deaths in the entire series, probably top 3 deaths for me. And the characters as well, great group of characters. You know, I really like the main protagonist here. Eric was cool. I liked his brother as well, who had the peanut allergy. They're nice characters to get behind. Some of these movies don't have the best bunch of characters, but here I think they worked well. And I just thought it was a real cool way of doing a Final Destination movie. Now, there is some CGI, shoddy CGI effects, especially at the start when we're looking at this type of building type deal. Like, it's all done in CGI and stuff. That didn't look great. Some of the CGI blood thrown in there as well. But I could kind of look past it because I was having such a good time. So for me, this is one of the best Final Destination movies, and it's definitely my favourite horror movie that I watched this month. I have it second on my 2025 entire year ranking. And I might do a ranking for half the year very soon, so look out for that. But this is my number 1 horror movie of the year so far, I think. Yes, it is. So what does that tell you? So yeah, Final Destination Bloodlines, definitely go and see it, guys. I think it was wonderful. So that is number 1. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed this ranking. What did you think of these movies? Would you rank them in a different order? Please do let me know. And if there's any I missed, please do let me know as well. Hopefully, we'll have a few more movies next month. We've got 28 years later. I'm going to have Clown in the Cornfield, of course, because it's getting a UK release. And I don't quite know what else is out, but I'm sure there'll be some movies down the line. Shudder will probably release a couple as well. So look out for all that. If horror is your sort of thing, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It would really help me out. Thanks so much, guys. You take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.